Canada is swiftly becoming one of the car theft capitals of the world. Since the RCMP began sharing data with the International Police Agency Interpol in February, forces worldwide have identified over 1,500 stolen vehicles they can trace back to Canada. Now that puts us in the top 10 countries globally for this type of crime. For more, we've reached George Iny. He's the director of the Automobile Protection Association. Good morning, George.
Good morning.
Now, from your perspective, what factors have led Canada to rise to the top 10 in worst countries for car theft?
Well, three factors. So first, you have a lack of coordination between the different police forces and the ports, and underinvestment at the ports in checking cargo leaving the country. The second is that cars are easy to steal. The car makers have argued for a long time that they're not the ones who steal cars, and they shouldn't be responsible for the social costs related to using an automobile. They're a little bit on auto theft where they were like with air pollution in the 1970s.
Okay.
Where they said, that wasn't their issue. And then the third is the thieves themselves. They've become more professional. They work internationally now. Used to be when vehicles were stolen, it was either primarily joyriders, so basically kids, or alternatively sold for resale into Canada or the U.S.
When I had my car stolen, police told me it was used in a number of thefts around town before it was wrecked. So I guess that is still happening, but it sounds like internationally this is becoming a much bigger issue.
Well, an upgraded anti-theft standard that was done over the ejections of the car industry put an end to joyriding by about 80%. So the casual type of joyriding where someone with a screwdriver would pop the door lock and then the ignition with maybe pliers, that's disappeared.
Okay. So where are cars stolen in Canada typically ending up now?
In many cases, they'll transit to a European port of entry, with paperwork describing them as something else, and then they're re-exported out to a Middle East or an African country, so West Africa, North Africa. I'm told in some cases they may go directly to those countries.
And which cars are particularly being targeted?
Same models are on the list year after year, so they're desirable vehicles in Canada, but those are also desirable in other markets. So Toyota, Lexus, Honda, and those models also have the feature of being very easy to steal. Experts have told us that with some Toyotas, you need to go in through the left front headlight. You don't even have to go into the car to do it.
Through the headlight?
The car maker just didn't even protect the circuit. So there really does need to be an upgrade on their end as well.
Okay, so what international measures are in place to combat the cross-border resale of stolen Canadian vehicles?
Well, there's a clearinghouse the Interpol maintains where you can track vehicles, and other agencies can use that information at the ports where the vehicles are expected to arrive and look for them. Private insurance has started to develop presence overseas. Canada has embassies in, almost all countries where stolen cars are resold, and also consulates in many cities with a mandate for economic development. That could also be used in reverse and to help work against property crime, but there's no real coordination that's being done there.
Okay. Now we've heard from the Insurance Bureau of Canada that this is a significant problem, but how is this car theft crisis affecting car insurance costs for consumers?
I would say the bigger in the high theft markets like Toronto, for example, the bigger concern is safety. People don't feel secure anymore. They bought this fancy thing. They park just a few feet from their house. They have a video cam now that shows them that people steal stuff right from their driveway. It's chilling. In some cases, they broke into the house to get the keys. Again, very scary. In terms of insurance premiums, theft does contribute to higher premiums, but I would say the bigger vector is a much higher cost of repairing a car today. The fronts of the cars are more complicated. There are sensors. Labor rates have gone up, and the parts prices have gone up as well.
My mom actually broke out the club. She had it from years ago, and she's using it again. Is that something that might help people?
It might help you emotionally
Okay.
because you feel you're doing something about a problem, but it won't stop a thief. They cut the steering wheel because it's not hardened steel. Only the lock is. We are surprised. I did do a quick search, and I'm amazed at the longevity of the club. It's supremely inconvenient to use and isn't a good anti-theft device in most cases.
So what do you recommend?
It may work if there are two identical vehicles parked next to each other, like in a shopping mall. I would think a thief then might, yes, be more likely to pay attention to the club, but it wouldn't be effective for a vehicle that's parked overnight in the same way as some more modern theft protection that's automatic.
So what are you recommending people do to try to get peace of mind? Is it buy certain vehicles or?
Oh, well, sure, that would be great. Buy a sedan.
Okay, something less popular.
that isn't popular overseas for theft.
Okay.
Exactly, that would be a good solution. Most people don't want to do it.
Right,
So,
they want their pickup trucks or their SUVs.
Exactly.
Okay.
And in that case, I mean, I wish the aftermarket, there are excellent aftermarket products. Insurance companies, unfortunately, have been very slow to recommend them. And they give us weaselly kind of answers like, well, if we recommend one company, we have to recommend them all. No, actually, you don't. A car is not a citizen. It doesn't have a right to vote. It's not. They should be testing the aftermarket products. Unfortunately, the stuff the car dealer sells you is mainly high margin. They're mostly interested in making a lot of money and sometimes having you pick up some of their insurance costs. You don't realize when you buy a product from the car dealer, you might be picking up some of their insurance price as well in what you're paying. So that's the difficulty there. The final solution eventually will have to come from the car makers. We are seeing some brands, Porsche, BM, Mercedes, all very desirable vehicles, but they're not being stolen at the frequency of the Honda and Toyota products.
Okay, so the dealers or the makers have to make it harder. Okay.
That's right.
Well, George, thank you for your time on this morning.
You're welcome.
That is George Iny, the director of the Automobile Protection Association, and we reached him this morning in California.